Hello and welcome to Alchemist Swim. I am Alchemist Jen. I hope you're having an amazing day. Today, our whim of the day is going to be my sewing machine. So I am getting ready to sew a bunch of stuff, and I was thinking, hey, I should actually do some sewing machine maintenance. Because it's really good to oil everything and make sure your sewing machine is super happy if you have one. If you don't have one, maybe you'll get one eventually, and maybe you'll need to give it some TLC. So I have a Sears Kenmore zigzag sewing machine from the 70s, for real. It's older than me, and it was my grandmother's on my father's side, and it I'm sure has seen some interesting travels along the way. I don't even know if it was originally hers or if anything's possible, right? So I'm sure it's had some stories. It is this beautiful avocado color that classic a time period piece. It is one that was made in Japan. It's an absolutely gorgeous, sturdy machine that's super amazing. It's a zigzag machine, but it has these discs. So this is what tells the needle where it's going to go. So there's all sorts of designs you can do. You're going to be able to change the discs in the top here. So I have gone ahead and removed it. So it's got the parts where the thread goes on. That's your bobbin winder, which is really cool. And then in this compartment here, see if it'll open up without anything in it. Oh, I do it right. The other way. So when the machine is closed on it, there's a little wheel, and the part sits right there, and that is something that fits on this beautiful. I mean, everything about this tooling and everything is just. It's really, really cool. So it just feels like, it was all machine made and tooled, and it'll outlast me for sure. So I want to make sure that I'm giving it the care that it needs. So I'm going to be working on oiling it tonight. So that's my after video task, is to oil this baby, all its beautiful components. To make sure that she's super happy, because a happy sewing machine does what it wants to do for you. I don't think it necessarily does what you want it to do. I don't know. Maybe that's just my experience. So it's got 7 different little discs, and they all have little kind of illustrations on them as to what kind of stitch they're going to produce. It's very fun. It's a very beautiful machine, as I've said. I like the quality cord action there, so no safety measures involved because it's older than that, and it's the original cord, which is awesome. I mean, look at that spacing between the two dogs. Awesome. And it's got the original foot as well that says Sears on it, so it's pretty awesome. And I find it's quite the tank. It goes very fast. It's very consistent. I fought with it a little bit at the beginning as I was trying to figure out how the stitches worked, and I was getting the tension off. But once I figured out what she wanted, and was able to figure out how to adjust her, the principle behind any sewing machine is still going to be the same as far as tension and stitch spacing and all that stuff. But this is one that isn't around as much, so I mean, the book is fantastic, actually. You read through a manual, and it does give a lot of information. If you get stuck here, then try this. I mean, it was an era where there was no internet. It wasn't even a dream at that point. So it's cool to have something that is something that it was set up to be troubleshooted through, to be a useful everyday home tool. So I mean, it's made to last. and I think it's pretty awesome. I'm very fortunate to have this machine, and I am very grateful for its presence in my life. I have another machine, a newer, maybe, I don't know, maybe 6-year-old Genome machine, and there's nothing compares to this is sturdiness. They're just totally different machines. So I prefer to use this one because it is really, it's a tank. It's going to be the most consistent, especially when I go through sewing sessions, and generally I'm sewing lots of things at the same time. So I'm sewing several tapestries, or I'm sewing, probably when I go to sew this, ginormous pillow, or, I'll be working on some bandanas and some patches. I can just keep going. I'm replacing the bobbin occasionally, which is super easy on this thing. But it definitely does not like plastic bobbins. It loves metal ones. It won't use plastic. It says no. So I just listen, and I got more metal ones, so I can pre-fill them and just go to town. I tend to just use regular straight up cotton quilting thread, the thicker stuff with this. I find that even no matter what kind of needle I end up using, titanium point. I find just because it is a heavy duty machine, I don't want the needles to break, but I also want it to be, consistent, and I find I get the best results from a titanium blade. Sometimes I'll put something rated for more thicker fabric, since I tend to do flannels as well as some cottons in there too. It tends to like not necessarily a universal needle, but something a little bit more heavy duty. No matter what the thickness of the fabric is. So just getting to know my machine as I'm going on this adventure, seeing what she needs and what I can do for her. I think she's fantastic, and so the importance of keeping up maintenance and oiling and keeping everything clean and dust free and fuzz free is just super important and fantastic. It's an honor to be able to take care of my beautiful machine, so that she'll give me lots more stitches and help me produce lots more work. I really enjoy, I think it's the 4A. 4A is my baby. This is the one that I've used on everything that I've really just kind of enjoyed. So it's a zigzag stitch. It's a nice, just consistent zigzag. It's a bigger zigzag, I find, stitch, and it's a very signature piece of my work right now, and I might change it later, but right now I really enjoy a playful edge on my work, and so I really want to keep that going for a while until I figure out I want to do something else. So even in my bandanas, which traditionally you might be going with more of a hidden edge, a hidden stitch hem. I want to play with it being a little bit more visible, and it's an important line as well. So that's where I am today. I'm going to do some beautiful maintenance on my baby, and then work on getting a lot of stuff sewn so I can jump into printmaking. So I need to carve some blocks next too. So it's exciting. Thanks for being on the ride. We'll see what we get up to with the women's for tomorrow, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you. Toodaloo.